Mauricio Pochettino has become one of the most intriguing managers in football, but his West London lifestyle as Chelsea's new manager adds a new layer of curiosity for us fans. From humble beginnings to a respectable career as a player and a manager, his relationships, weird lifestyle, expensive properties, net worth, and everything else you can think of. Let's get into it. Mauricio Pochettino's story begins in a small town in Argentina. Born on March 2, 1972, in Murphy, Santa Fe, he grew up in a close-knit family. His childhood was marked by a deep love for the beautiful game of football, a passion that would eventually shape his future. Pochettino's upbringing was humble. His parents, Hector Pochettino and Amalia Pochettino, were middle-class and hard workers. In these early years, he developed the resilience that would later define his managerial career. According to his father, even after his son started playing football professionally, young Mauricio would stop by on the days that he had no games to help with the farm work. He did this with his older brother Javier, who also enjoyed playing football. Farming was a cherished practice in Murphy, and Pochettino's family had worked on their land for over 3 generations. There was no way the tradition would end with him. The young Argentine ended up attending a specialist agricultural school that was 20 miles away from his home. That was where he got his first formal education before taking football seriously. Talking about how Pochettino's love for football began, as a child, he would run across the yard in his family home with a ball at his feet. In the evenings, he would play with his father and older brother while his mom cooked dinner. His toes were literally sticking out of his shoes. He had no care in the world. At age 6, he watched the FIFA World Cup with his father, Hector, at the local sports club in Murphy. In fact, that was the first game he had ever seen, and it must have made an impression. However, football wasn't the only sport that caught young Pochettino's attention. At the age of 8, he was already playing judo and volleyball. When he was 16, he and his brother Javier participated in the first division of the regional Venedense League. The year before, he had met the Argentine coach who would become his mentor, Marcelo Bielsa. Bielsa had come to that part of the country hoping to scout young talent. Once he was done, he had to be on his way. But Bielsa hates flying, so he decided to pass through Murphy on the road. He encountered the Pochettinos in the middle of the night and met their son. According to the Pochettinos, Marcelo Bielsa signed him with Newell's Old Boys on the spot. Sounds surreal. Interestingly, Newell's was the same Rosario club that produced Lionel Messi. Mauricio went on to practice twice a week with Rosario Central, diligently traveling 160 miles whenever he went to train. At the time, it must have seemed like a dream come true for his parents, but little did they know that this was just the beginning. Bielsa's influence on Pochettino's career was immense. Bielsa became manager of Newell's in 1990 and helped shape Mauricio into a beast on the field, a powerful defender. His talent quickly caught the eye of European clubs, leading to a move to Europe in 1994. In Europe, Pochettino started out with the Catalan team Espanyol in 1994. He played there for over 7 years, eventually winning the Copa del Rey title in 2000. A year later, he went on to play for PSG, where he was fondly referred to as Captain Smooth. The Argentine stayed at PSG till Girondins de Bordeaux husked him away in 2004. He spent 2 seasons and a half with them. In 2002, Pochettino finally landed his foot on the global stage. He participated in the World Cup and made a total of 20 appearances overall with the Albicelestes. Pochettino's transition from player to manager was seamless. His managerial journey began with Espanyol in January 2009, the team that kickstarted his European football career as a player. He trained the youngsters and quickly established a reputation for implementing an attractive, high-pressing style of play. He led the team to a 10th place finish in La Liga, after which he left in 2012. However, the pinnacle of his managerial career came during his tenure at Southampton and later Tottenham Hotspur. He did a great job at Southampton and guided the club to their highest ever Premier League finish, at 8th position, defeating teams like Chelsea, Manchester City, and Liverpool. It almost seemed like his time at Espanyol was just for practice, as he maximized every player's potential. Pochettino then took the reins at Tottenham Hotspur in 2014. Pochettino's Spurs played some of the most exciting and attacking football in the Premier League, regularly challenging for the title. His training drills were set to break bones. He would literally ask his players to do the impossible, but that was what made them so good. Harry Kane said, "He makes you suffer like a dog, and at the same time, you hate him for it. But by Sunday, you're grateful because it works." Kane was the most impressive forward in the Premier League at the time. Pochettino also groomed other talents like Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen. Unfortunately, he was asked to leave Tottenham in 2019 after a series of poor results. Picking himself up, he went on to join PSG in 2021. The football world was stunned when Pochettino was appointed the manager of Paris Saint-Germain, marking his return to the club where he once played. His task was clear: to guide PSG to European glory. He helped PSG win the Ligue 1 title and the Coupe de France before leaving the team after a year. He was probably trying to avoid history repeating itself. He's currently the head coach of Chelsea, having signed with the team in May 2023. So tell me, how far do you see Pochettino's Chelsea going? Beyond the football pitch, Mauricio Pochettino has led a relatively private life. He's married to his longtime partner, Karina Gripaldi. They met in 1991 while Mauricio was still at Newell's Old Boys. They have two sons, Sebastiano and Maurizio. Sebastiano became Tottenham's first-team sports scientist, whatever that means. His younger son Maurizio decided to follow in his father's footsteps and play football professionally. He is currently signed for Watford. The beautiful Karina Gripaldi used to be a chemist but left all that to become a homemaker and take care of the kids. The 51-year-old's life revolves around football, but he also has a share of interests outside of the sport. While Pochettino hasn't shared much about what he does with his leisure time, we know that he enjoys spending time with his family and friends. Back in his days on the international stage, he spent a lot of time with Gabriel Batistuta. They both had long hair and were best friends. In terms of cuisine, Pochettino's Argentine roots shine through. He's a fan of traditional dishes like asado, a barbecue-style feast, and steak. He also said that he enjoys eating fish and chips, although you should know that he had never tasted fish and chips before coming to England. Pochettino's success as a manager has allowed him to invest in some impressive properties. During his time with Tottenham Hotspur in North London, he resided in a luxurious home in Hertfordshire. Seeing that he has switched teams, we don't know where he and his family currently reside, but we assume that following the signing of his 3-year contract with Chelsea, he'd most likely go back to Barnet. When he was in Tottenham, Mauricio Pochettino revealed that the club chairman, Daniel Levy, gifted him a Bentley, but he preferred to drive his own electric smart car. We also know that he has another electric car from Audi. How much is Chelsea paying Mauricio Pochettino? Multiple sources reveal the figures to be around £10.4 million a year. We estimate Pochettino's net worth to be around $33 million. His earnings mostly come from previous managerial roles and endorsement deals. In 2018, he became the world's 4th highest paid football manager, so it's safe to assume that he's still among the richest managers in the game. Pochettino has been involved in several charity events, notably Soccer Aid, where he served as coach for World XI. Soccer Aid is a celebrity football match held by UNICEF to raise money for charity. In a relatively controversy-free career, Pochettino has managed to maintain a clean image both on and off the field. However, it's been said that he has quite a temper, even earning the name the Angered One. He admitted that he occasionally has dressing room explosions where he gives his players an earful, but besides that, he seems like a great guy. This might be a good time to mention that Pochettino is a bit superstitious. He keeps a bowl of lemons in his office, claiming that they absorb negative energy. He also ensures that his players' jerseys are washed with a specific form of detergent. According to him, the smell goes a long way in improving their performance. Sounds funny, right? But everyone has what works for them.